Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I've been out here quite a bit today working on this huge journal. It's called Poetic Rust, and I think I'm getting to a stopping point. I thought I would be done today, but I just don't know. I think I'm getting to a stopping point because I'm sure as I continue to go through things in my workshop, I'll find a few more pieces I want to put in. I think too, when we step away from something, I don't know, we come back to it renewed maybe. Okay, so this is Poetic Rust. It is, let's see, it'll fan out a little bit. I would say it's about 4 inches across, maybe 3.5. Let's say 3.5, because I don't want to have to pull on it to get that measurement. I love the way it turned out. You know, I did the binding with safety pins, so all of the signatures will come out, and I can add to it. I may come back and do that. I don't know yet. I think that would be really, really neat. Now, one of the downsides about a journal like this, you can see that you can slide it up and down, but that's okay with me. It's going to be beautiful sitting on the shelf between other books. It's easy to kind of play with on the desktop. So you can pull these outer covers apart as far as you can. I would consider this pretty much a completed book. Like if I put this in the shop to sell, it's pretty much complete, but you definitely could continue to add to it as far as writing and things like that. And that's the reason I'm explaining kind of the way it lays. There is the pocket in the front and the bird. It's got a fabric inside, and the outside are 2 old book covers that I painted with first black paint and then a layer of, however you do the crackle finish. I did that, and then some silver paint. I guess you put the crackle on first. Anyway, I don't remember. It didn't completely do what I wanted it to do. I was going to do a second attempt, but I liked this so much I just stuck with it. So let's get back over here. I had some beautiful postcards. This is, the artist is Muka, and I love these. I decided to use a different stitch on the sewing machine. This is stitch number, I think it is 39 maybe, and it's a little scalloped shape. So there are 2 postcards together, and that just sits in the front. And then this was cut from an old placemat that was basically breaking. This is sturdy, but it had a corner chipped off of it, and I decided just to cut it down and make a really cool, just a little card to go in a pocket. You've probably seen this page. I was just inspired to do something rusty, the color rust as well as rusty elements. The little black and white photos that you will see stapled in here, this just came from a sheet of somebody else's photographs. Oh, it goes this way. Tiny little, I guess they're proofs, and I love the lettering on there. This looks like a beach trip, so I've just been cutting a few of those out. 2, not a few. There are rusty and coppery colored metal elements in here. When you open this up, there's more of the art by Alphonse Mucha. You can see the alcohol ink there. And I love these. That's an old ink stamp, or it's new to me. I think it's from kind of an older set. I bought that at the scrap exchange, and then I decided to use some of my most recently purchased Tim Holtz die cuts. There was a pack that's out for Halloween, and I purchased one of those, but I love these in here. I definitely wanted some of, you know, a touch of black here and there with the rust color and the gold. And there are all sorts of flips, and like I'll probably put something on the back of here. Like I said, for right now, I'm needing a break from it. But once I have it completely done, I'll do another final flip through. You can see there are a few charms in here. I do want to add something to the center of that. That still needs to be done. Just a lot of pretty ink stamps. This is one of my stamps. Jay, I think you sent that to me, and I have used this one little stamp so much. I love this. I love the shape of that. It's like a Queen Anne's lace, you know, kind of at the end of the season when it's bloomed out and it's just got the seed pod that's not completely closed up or shriveled up. Again, another one of the Tim Holtz die cuts. Let me move this paper clip. That's what is in the way here. And I'll just stick that up there. I love those copper colored paper clips. So if we open this up, I have a space I can do something here. And I just love all of these fold out pages. There is the Joan of Arc. Beautiful artwork. I think he was enchanted with redheads. I've talked about that a little bit. And then this pocket is actually from a vintage record, an album cover, the old heavy brown paper ones. So I love to cut the corners off of those and make pockets. That is where I stamped onto a transparency, and then that's just a pretty piece of embossed paper in this pocket. I tried several new stitches today with my sewing machine. This one's pretty. I think it would be better on a solid color fabric. And you might remember this is the picture that I purchased from the scrap exchange. I cut it in half thinking I might use it to flip this way, but I ended up taping it right back together. And I just love this. That's a room. It's a place in California. I think it's supposed to be an old, maybe it was an old hotel or something. And then we flip again. Okay, so that's why the paper clip was there. So I need to bring that over and put it here instead of out here. And that's just a little flower that we did. You might remember that. That's where I stenciled with some distress ink, butterfly stencil. And this thing keeps floating to the top in my ephemera. It's an actual photograph that someone took. It looks like it says Steph Clark. This came from a collection of Cézanne and Picasso ephemera that I found at one point. And you can see it says CEZ at the top. I'm not sure what to think. It says circa 1890. And I guess it's a photograph that somebody took of some art. I need to research this some more, but I love that color. And it floated to the top again today as I was going through some things, and I thought, yeah, I'm just going to put it in the Poetic Rust journal for safekeeping. So then folding out here, that's one of my original art journal paintings. And you can see the rusty washer in here, the rusty safety pin. I'll definitely have to put something in that tall pocket. And then when we flip out this way, we have the beautiful wallpaper. That was in the fun packs recently. I might have some more of that I'll list soon. And this was a fun greeting card. It's supposed to be like one of those, I forget what they're called, but you can view images. It's a binocular sort of viewer. And you can see more of the Tim Holtz cutouts. There's some wallpaper that shows books. That stamp again, and that's an old rusty piece. I think that was some door hardware, maybe to a lock, door handle, something like that. And then turning this page, you can see the dress. I just sewed the baby doll dress there and put the watch on top of that. I could tuck something in there, which I will probably do when I come back to this for the last time. I added the butterfly today. I had stamped the word delight and just did a drawing with an ink pen and used just some, that might be the watercolor crayons there. And then here, that is a piece torn from an old Learn How to Paint book. There is a library card, like where you check out a book, put a stamp there that says 1 cent. That is sewn in. That's a piece of paper that I did some artwork on for the video way back in the springtime when I did a book called Dark Spring, and that was about COVID and sort of this time that we've entered into with that. That is by the same artist who has a lot of paintings with redheaded people in them. I will be sure and put the name. And then we can open up the book this way, and I can add something there actually. There's a beautiful, beautiful greeting card cover that's got the circle. That's called a fairy ring. And mushrooms can grow in rings. We learned about that in college. It's just the way they're, is it a rhizome system or the root system? I can't remember what it's called, but they do have a tendency to grow in circles, and those circles can spread out. But I love that image, and then on the outside, or the other side of that, I just put another butterfly. This is a petal that came from the garden, and I was using that to get some ink stains. It ended up just stuck to the paper, so I left it in there. I think it'll probably fall off at some point, but we're going to leave it there for now. And there's some pretty wallpaper. That lace is rusted. It's been in some rusty water. That's an original painting from my art journal. I love all the reds there. And then when we get over here, there is another Tim Holtz die cut. I had some of this clear, I love that crinkly paper. I had some of this clear paper that I sewed across the top like a curtain. So it's almost like she's performing, and there's just another pretty piece of scrapbook paper that is sewn under that to give it a little extra effect. You might remember this gauze that I sewed the flower blossom into. At the top, I added a piece of sort of boho trim with the beads on it, mostly because of the color, you can probably guess. And then we turn the page here, and there's a little fabric flap with a piece of paper. I love the number written on there, and I love this image. It's a very architectural. I love that you can see the safety pins all the way through. This, of course, is corrugated cardboard, and I sewed the image on there of the man holding the child, and there's another flower petal sewn into some gauze that has been, it's had some red paint splashed onto it, and this was put in with 4 buttons. That one broke as I was sewing it, which I thought was just added to the card. And then I used another piece of that. This was some scrapbook paper or some artist paper that had the numbers scribbled on it. So there's another little tab there with a number and the couple, the Tim Holtz die cut. And then under here is more original artwork. I think I stamped the word quite there, and I think the entire page had something like quite mad. Oh yeah, I can see the mad there. That's a label from an old, like a vintage, I don't even remember what it was, maybe a textile sample or something. It's got the lot number, piece number, let's see, lot number A 2051, 230 piece number, Brantley. You can see the key sewn onto this page. I love this page. I have a pencil that's supposed to mark on photographs. It's a Creative Memories photo labeling pencil. And I don't know, I didn't have such good luck with it on the photographs, but you can see there that it works nicely on black paper. And there's another one of the images from that same artist, and that's definitely boho fabric there to make a little tab. This I love. That's a very heavy pendant that came off of a necklace, and I thought it would be cool just to put it on the safety pin. And that's one of the neat things about that. If we look out here, I think that's on maybe the next to the last pin. But you know, if you just hold everything into place, you can pull those safety pins out and add to them. I put this piece of ribbon in. I just like this a lot. So I used another rusty safety pin at the top for that. That's more artwork with just the scribbling almost. And I think that was watercolor crayons. Oh, you all might remember this when I completely tore up an art page and it said, "You are art." I pulled these off. It took paper with it, so it ended up being cooler even, I think. I glued those down here. So then we turn the page, and there is a totally metal tag. I used a jewelry cement, I think it's the E6000, to put this Tim Holtz die cut into place on that, to really hold it into place on the metal. And then we have 3 book rings. That's more original art and just a lot of scribbling, the circles. I love the way that turned out, and I love using like sometimes half butterflies or half insects. I've done that before, and I thought that was a really pretty effect here again. I can't believe this goes all the way back to August 3rd. So I've been working on this book for a while, just, you know, as time permits. Now, I can definitely do more to this. There's one of the note cards that I found and tea stained and then stamped. You know, I'll probably cut something down, but I just wanted to show you that there's the corner of a pocket there. So I'll probably end up just sticking something in there to hang out. We'll leave that for now. Love this page. I love the ink spots and that beautiful sort of mustard color paint, that old book page. And then here, I love this image. That's a beautiful dress, very, very decorated. 1909 English wedding dress. And then this is beautiful. That's from some wallpaper. And I have a kit that I'm putting together. It's going to be another large journal kit that's got more of this paper in it. So I will be listing that. Actually, it's got a lot of pieces that are left over just from making this book. So it's got fabric. It has paper that's been stained, and it's got just, you know, ink drops on it and stuff like that. I know I'll come back and do more to this. For now, it's just sitting in here. Love the fabric here. And there will be some of this fabric also in that journal pack. So this is really neat. I love the way this turned out. This wallpaper is just so beautiful. I didn't want to lose any of it. So I put it in, I put the whole piece in and just folded it to make an accordion page. And this is sort of a collage of, let me cut this string. That's a collage of images, just layers, old text, and that's from an old card. That was from the inside of a book, I believe. But I just love this, the old watering can, and we know things like that get rusty. And then on the other side of this, I put old graph paper. I love the numbers. It says cell register and all of this text here. I could continue to add to this. There's a pretty bookmark with the angel and the flowers. And there's that. I found that. I didn't take that photograph. I found it at the scrap exchange and purchased that. There's more from that same artist. And then, of course, we see the stamp with Frida Kahlo and the fabric tab there, the paper tape, and the butterfly. So all of that folds back in. I knew this book would end up really thick, and probably really not quite done. This is almost a final flip through, but I wanted to show you just how much I've done in this book. And I love when you're adding things, like I do go back under the sewing machine needle with even big projects like this. And I just set that at a zigzag stitch, put the length at 0 and the width as far as it would go, and did stitching at the top and the bottom. And you can see I just moved the needle on down without cutting the thread. So we'll cut it now. And then there's more corrugated cardboard. You can see another one of the note cards that I tea stained and then stamped on. A little bit of red paint in the back. And then when you lift it up, that was a sticker from a winery. I think some of those recently went out in fun packs. I have a few more of those here that are going in that current journal kit. And then that's one of the first pages that I did, and I think it's interesting how the design and like the theme, the style has evolved since it started. I feel like I'm going to leave this because that kind of started the whole idea. I've got a J there and some other J words, and this butterfly that looks like it's pretty much only partially glued down. That's really not, I don't think that's rusty enough, so I'll probably rust it up a little bit. I don't know, do I dare do this? So that's the alcohol ink, but then the distress ink. Ooh, I like that. And let's just add the tiniest bit of water. And then flipping over here, I love the way this is turning out. You can see I used some of the black and white ticking on the inside here. There's a flower petal that's just sort of scrunched up and I sewed across there. And a couple of pieces of paper there that I can do more with. Another one of those images by the same artist, and I still need to put some information about him in here. And this, again, that's part of the record album sleeve or whatever. And that's from that same wallpaper that had the books on it. That's going to be in the journal, the little journal kit I'm putting together, or big journal kit. You probably remember this button card that I did a while back. So that so far is, let's close that up. So that's where I am so far with the Poetic Rust journal. I know we need some keys as hardware, and maybe, I don't know, I think we need a few more things. We could definitely bulk it up a little bit more, not too much more. As you can see the way it's really full, but I think it could stand some more charms, and maybe some more inking and some gesso. Anyway, I'm gonna go in. My sweetie is home. He's been out this afternoon. Thank you so much for your support. I hope everyone has a really good night. I'll be back soon with another kit. I wanted to share more shop inventory today, but this beautiful Poetic Rust has been a great diversion and has taken a lot of my time today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back really soon. Bye for now.